Last week, as well as the week before, we read the amazing episode of Pinchas displaying his zealousness in murdering the leader of the tribe of Shimon, as well as this Midianite princess who were going to do something which would destroy and tamper with the relationship between God and the Jewish people. So Pinchas comes and he murders them, as we've spoken about. Now, the specific girl that came out, her name was Kozbi bat Tzur. Kozbi was her name, Tzur was her father. Actually, Tzur was as the Torah tells us at the beginning of last week's Torah portion, Parashat Pinchas, that Tzur was a national leader for the tribe and for the society of Midian. He was their king. Now, he sent his very own daughter in order to entice the Jewish people in order to sin. In this week's Torah portion we read that when the Torah lists there were actually 5 kings of Midian, listen to the following. Chapter 31, verse 8. Vet malchei Midian haregu. This was now in this week's Torah portion when the Jewish people were commanded to kill out the population of Midian at war. It says, these are the kings that were killed at battle. Et Evi, ve'et Rekem, ve'et Tzur, ve'et Hur, ve'et Reva. Evi, Rekem, Tzur, Hur, and Reva. Now, the Mefarshim all tackle with, and specifically Rashi explains, why was Tzur mentioned number 3? If he was mentioned originally as the leader, national leader for this country, for this nation, why is he listed as number 3? Were there any more important than him? So Rashi explains that he was now demoted. He really was the greatest. But since he sent out his daughter for an immoral act, therefore he was now demoted to place number 3. He should have been number 1, even on this list in this week's Torah portion, but he was demoted to number 3 because of the gross act which he did by sending out his daughter to entice in a derogatory way the Jewish people. The Zera Shimshon asks, what's this whole idea? The Torah doesn't tell us that he was demoted because of this, and the Torah doesn't even allude to that at all, and who cares if he was demoted or not, and who cares is he number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5? If he's the greatest, he's the greatest. If he's not, he's not. What's this whole idea that Rashi's coming and telling us, now he was moved to number 3? Maybe he should be moved to number 5, or keep it number 2. Is there something specific about the number 3? Zera Shimshon answers as follows. He says that there are 3 qualities or reasons why a king will be elected as the king over his constituents. Number 1 is because he is of royal family, royal blood, was born into it. He was the prince, his father was the king, and now it's his turn. Second quality would be because he's exceedingly wise and fit for the position that he would have to fill as serving as king for the people. The third quality would be if he would be extremely wealthy and rich, and because of that he would be elected as king in order to play the part and help everybody out. Originally, Tzur had all 3 of these qualities. He was of noble family, he was descendant of kings and princes. He was also extremely wise, a nobleman, very smart man, and he was also extremely wealthy. However, in the eyes of Midian themselves, as well as the world population, since he did such a disgusting act by sending his daughter out to entice the Jewish people, he was demoted from his rank. He did not act as a noble king or the son of a king. That blue blood, as we like to call it, does not act such ways. And secondly, he did not demonstrate himself to be any more wise, so he removed himself from the first and second quality. And the only reason why he was still king was because of his third quality, which was that he was exceedingly rich and wealthy. And out of all 3, that is the least important. Because money comes and goes, and money in itself is not anything great, it's nothing special. All money does, as we all know, is enables an individual to do great things with it. But money itself is not great. So the Torah goes, the Zera Shimshon explains, and takes Tzur and demotes him to the third in rank. Why third? Not necessarily first, second, third, fourth, fifth, but specifically to teach us that he was not only demoted in the eyes of the Jewish people in the world, but even in the eyes of his own constituents, his own people, the people of Midian. And he was lowered to a third number to allude to his only entitlement to being king was because of that third and least special quality of having wealth. This reminds me of what my father always told me and my brothers growing up, that it takes a lifetime to build a reputation. And it's important that each and every one of us build reputations, whether it's for family, friends, business, community, to be an upstanding citizen of the community, the country that we live in. Reputation does mean a lot. However, it takes just one moment to ruin one's reputation. After a whole lifetime, even of ancestors, of putting together a proper and building a proper reputation, it just takes one action to completely destroy that reputation. And we see that Tzur, who, by the way, is Balak himself, the famous Balak who hires Bil'am, ruined his reputation because he did something so disgusting and so low. This is a lesson for each and every one of us. To first and foremost, set out for ourselves goals to make ourselves those proper and upstanding reputations that we would love to have so much for ourselves, for our families, for our community, setting everyone up for success. However, we have to teach ourselves as well as our children that a reputation can be broken and is very, very hard to rebuild after just one moment. It's important that we know this, important that we teach our children this, important that we always follow the words of our Torah, the will of God. That will give a person the greatest reputation. The point of reputation is not to walk around and boast about it. It's rather to prove to others as well as yourself that you are a good person. You conduct business in a straight manner, in an honest fashion. You could be relied upon. You could be counted on. You are charitable. You're a nice individual. You don't speak lashon hara about people. Just a good Jew according to the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu laid out for us in our very holy Torah. Shabbat Shalom.